Hello and welcome to our webinar on unlocking Sage 50 for distribution. So this is looking at Sage 50 to ensure that you are maximizing the functionality that you can get from Sage 50 for your distribution business. So first of all, we're going to briefly look at the stock management, order processing, the financial management, and some reporting and analytics. But first of all, for anybody who's on the webinar that's not familiar with Pimbrook, we are concentrating on Sage 50 and payroll. We are the largest partner in Ireland for the Sage 50 and payroll. And we have focused all of our business and our concentration on around our customer service. And we can see by our customer care follow-ups that we're getting a 98% satisfaction. Now, that doesn't allow us to sit on our laurels. That just allows us to strive for greater and continued excellence in our support. So we have a couple of samples of some of our clients there and some of the comments that they've made, which we're very proud of. So you can have a look at that later. I'm going to move swiftly on to our Sage 50 and where we're going to concentrate our time. So if we have a look here, I've just got a demo database. I have concentrated this around a medical device type of business. And I've set up some sample products here. I'm not a medical device expert, so bear with me on some of the terminology that you'll be looking at here. So first of all, to look at maybe around the product or the stock item here. So we give it the product codes and descriptions, and behind each one of those is a setup. And in the setup here, if I just drag that over, we get to give it codes, a name, and more importantly, a category. So we're using the category here on the main part of the product. We've got our nominal codes, which you're going to look at later for our financial reporting, but we're also utilizing these couple of categories down here. So in this case, I'm only using A and B for the purpose of the demonstration. So that's going to give us a multi-level breakdown of our product. And where we'll see that is in our reporting tool, which will be AccountsMate, which we will look at in more detail later. But just to give you a brief look at it here. So what I've done is I pulled out the product list, and you can see here I've got my product codes, I've got my categories, and you can see this web category. So it's easier to see in our AccountsMate this tiered breakdown. So I've got consumables, in consumables I've got paper, disposables, and I've got toilet or hand. And I've also got in our equipment, I've got mobility, hoists, I've got diagnostics, and I've got thermometers, and I've got more equipment there and mobility with walking as aids. So you can see here, these are all my products and these are my groupings, how we're going to use them later on. So that is just one area to show you how the AccountsMate initially can help us on looking at data. But where I'd like to concentrate first of is doing a purchase order. So you'll have a number of purchase orders. You'll set your number range on this. We can either duplicate a purchase order. So what that will do is it'll take the one that I'm highlighted on already, and it will take in the details from there. So take in the supplier, and it'll default to today's date, and then you'll have your products and you'll have your quantities. If I'll just pop maybe an earlier date on that for the purpose of the demo. So I'm going to save that into March, and I'm going to place it on order. So I don't want to print it just for the moment. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure that I have I'll look at my AccountsMate here again, just while I do that. And I'm going to refresh the data. And what that will do here, it'll show me any products that were on that purchase order. Now I've got an on order quantity. Okay, so it's just to show you the instant real time of the AccountsMate. So once I have my purchase order on, I've emailed it off to my supplier. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find it down here. It's the one on March, and I'm going to receive it. I can either receive in line by line, or I can just select the whole lot. So I'm going to update all of the items on that. And I've got another example here that I prepared earlier. I'm not going to print that for the moment, the GRN. I've got another one here, and you can see if I go into the received note, then I have the supplier, and I can manually receiving these quantities. So depending on if the purchase order is fully stocked or not. So my purchase order is there. I would go about my business. But if I was just to follow on for the purpose of the demo here, if I highlight back the one that I've received and I update my ledger there, and I'm going to click in here. So what this is going to do is it's going to automatically populate my batch invoice, my supplier batch invoice. Now you can see here that I've got little amber lines. What this is saying is that there's a potential duplicate. So it sees the same product on multiple lines. And why would you have that? Now I've just done it for the purpose of the demo. I've also got here, I can attach documents if I wanted to. So I could actually have a copy of the invoice and I could attach it here, browse for the PDS, JPEG, whatever it is, and attach it there. Otherwise, I just click save, and that will update onto my supplier's account, the purchase order, the number 26. So if I go into my medical paper in here and look at my activity, and you can see here, there's my number 26, and it's posted all the way through, and I can see the breakdown of that there. If I click on the little arrow here, I'll get my circular view right the way back to my purchase order, which is telling me it's already completed. So that's our purchase order. That gives me information, my stock updated, and information populated back on about the product. So in the background, my accounts mate was refreshing, and you can see my on order has now changed for those consumable items. Okay. So if we look at our sales orders, so we can do sales orders, quotations, or invoices. So depending on what suits the business, I'm just going to nip straight into a sales order in here, and I'm going to pop on a new one. And I'm going to pick one of my customers. So what I'm going to do is I'll pick Cork University Hospital. I'm going to pick my product codes, and pricing will default up here. I can write further details on the back of the order. I can put on change the nominal. I shouldn't do that if I've got everything set up correctly. So I'm just going to save that there. Now it's asking me if I want to allocate. I do. So if I have stock there, I can save me going out. And you can see here the allocate has been populated for me. So once I click on my dispatch order, it's asking me if I want to print it there. I don't I want to create my invoice. But I don't need to print my dispatch note for the purpose of this demo. So what that's done is that's moved it straight into our invoice list, and it'll be the one here, Cork University, you can see with the VAT. And all I need to do is print, email, update the ledgers, and that will follow all the way through. So that gives us an idea, the simplicity and the quick and speed of the maintaining your stock figures, purchasing, goods receiving, sales ordering, immediately into invoicing, and then out to the customer and onto the customer's account. So if we have a look, then follow back into our Sage 50 here, and I'm going to just have a look at the nominal there, just for the purpose of this. Everything that we're going to do is centered around our chart of accounts. So that's our financial reporting is around here. So in behind the scenes of our chart of accounts, we have a structure of what we're trying to set up for our to identify what's our revenue, to identify what's our purchasing, our cost of sales, and items such as that. So Took a second to click through. So you can see in here, I've got my sales and I've got my breakdown. So we talked earlier on about our categorization. So I want to do my nominal by equipment, diagnostics and consumables. The same, I'm going to mirror that on my purchases, and I got just a random selection of overheads in here. So I'm going to revert back to my accounts mate, because in here I've got a lot more ability to get my analysis out through. So if I just make that a little bit bigger here. So as they say, I prepared one earlier. So I've got a profit and loss, and it's based on my my medical chart of accounts and a date range. So I'm running January 22 to June 23. Now bear with me that the data is quite limited on this. But what I've done is I've got a category, title, name, the name of the nominal, and any details there. So I can drill down through this, and this is just following the structure of my chart of accounts. And as I drill in here, I can see the various bits. So once I go into that, I can see now here my actual product codes, and I can see the values for the 2 years. Now, if I extend out that, I can see it across all the months that I postings to for 2022, because remember, I ran it up here for 2022. So if I run it here for 2023, you can see I can extend across. I can expand out all of my profit and loss here, right the way down at this level, and then I can do it at this level, and you can see I can actually put my name out, because that's actually no, that's fine. And then I can expand out at this level when I'm getting down to the product. Now, I would say that that would not be relevant. So I'm going to drag that off, make it nice and tidy so I can see the sales of the consumables, etc. If I want to leave that there. Now I can save that report, so I no longer have the details attached onto that. But what the good thing is, I could turn around and say, actually, I want to see just June for the 2 years. So I click on that. I can see year on year my equipment sales on 22 versus 23. I could reduce my year and just say, right, the purpose of this is not to see 22. I only want to see 23. But actually, in fact, I want to see all of the months. So that's how quickly I can drag and drop and filter and change items. I could, in fact, put down a week number if I wanted to, if I was looking at anything to do with weeks. So you can see January's broken down into week numbers, February, etc. Quite a lot of detail, I would have thought, at the P&L level. People have asked us, well, how do I move that simply into a trial balance? Well, if I take out my category grouping, and I bring down my my code, my nominal code here. Literally, that is my trial balance month on month, or go back again for all of the years, and you'll see it there easily for you. I could go back to 2019 even, there if I wish to. And all I need to do is say, right, that's a different report. So I'm going to say this is a monthly trial balance. So now I have a different report. And if I go back to the prior one, which was my profit and loss, you can see it's held that. So that's some financial information. I can repeat that for the balance sheet, but it's the same concept. I can get right down, I can do it by quarter. I can get down to the transaction date and the transaction lines here if I wish to. And then finally, if we have a look at the sales analysis. So again, it's repeating itself. So in this case, I've got product category by rep. So I'm holding a rep on the customer's account. And remember, I've got category on my product. So I'm just going to collapse all of that there. So you can see for equipment, these are my 3 reps. Again, just like the nominal, across a period of time, my diagnostics, etc., etc. Now I can switch to another report. I'm going to see customer by product. Okay, so this is the customer by the product description, again over a period of time. Now I've got the line net down there, but actually, in fact, on this one, I might turn around and add the quantity. So you can see that I've got quantity and net columns there on this report. But interestingly, if I take, I did one earlier, as they said. So I went to rep, then I did the customer analysis. I categorized my customers. So I've got Joanne sells into hospitals. In this case, it's only Temple Street that she has, and nursing homes, the TLC in Santry. But I could, in fact, flip that on its head and say, right, if I just collapse these down here, I could turn around and say, actually, on the same report, I can see customer types and who's the rep that's selling into hospitals, who's selling into nursing homes, who's selling into the private hospital, just by a drag and drop of that. I'm not going to save that. So I want to, then I'm going to go back to my customer and product category. So I might turn around. Remember I said that I was utilizing extra categories. So I could put customer, and I'm going to put on my, let's see, what do I have here? I've got, oh, sorry, I'm going to put these in I talked about the tiers. So I've got the web category 1. So what I have here now is, and just let me have a look. I've got some fields here that I may not have pulled out that might be of relevance to me. Yeah, I want the web category 2 in there as well. So what I've got here is I've got now customer by product category, by the category within it, the mobility and hoists. So you can see here, I can run this report. So again, I've got the customer name by the product category, but I've got the drill through. So I can see in here, Mater Dublin, in the consumables, it's buying these paper disposables. Again, I can switch all these around. I could take the customer out and I could just have a look at my category type of sales. Or I could actually just do my analysis 2, which was the hospital. So you can see that here, the power of chopping and changing data by the exact same piece of data. And as everybody is entering data in on the background, once I do a refresh, it instantly populates it out. So I've shown you there briefly some financials, some sales, and some product details. So hopefully that gives you some insight into how you can run your distribution company much more efficiently through Sage 50. So just to leave you there with some contact details, and feel free to follow up there if there's anything that we can help you with. Thank you.